What would happen if two of nature's most formidable forces, a grizzly bear and a vulnerable girl, collided in a moment so poignant it reshapes our understanding of fear and empathy? Imagine a thick forest stretches for miles, a winding road cuts through the sprawling wilderness, and there lies a girl, sobbing under the weight of an unfathomable loneliness. A creature of power and instinct prowls nearby, its presence both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Today, we explore a moment that stunned onlookers and stirred deep questions about our primal instincts, fear, empathy, and connection. Our story begins in a remote region of the Pacific Northwest, an expanse known for its legendary grizzly bears. We are surrounded by tall evergreens, their presence a testament to enduring strength, much like the grizzly itself. These bears, revered yet feared, are apex predators, embodying raw power in every sinewy muscle and razor-sharp claw. But even in this realm of dominance, something unexpected erupts from the depths of nature, a fragile spark of compassion, perhaps more powerful than brute force. It's a chilly morning. Mist dances atop the asphalt. A young girl, no more than 8 or 9, wanders down a deserted road. She's lost, physically and metaphorically, her sobs slicing through the silent air. Imagine a moment suspended in time, where the cries of a child become a haunting echo against the backdrop of towering trees and feral creatures. At that moment, she becomes a reflection of a looming vulnerability in humanity, reminding us of our own moments of isolation, longing, and neediness. Now, let's pause here for a moment. Why do we instinctively feel drawn to such scenes? Perhaps it's the universal human experience of distress, the innate human capacity for empathy. Studies in social psychology reveal that the human brain is wired to respond to emotional cues, particularly those of distress. Empathy waxes strong in scenarios where we can no longer ignore suffering, igniting impulses to help, to protect. Momentary encounters in life can bottle up those primal instincts, emerging at the opportune moment. As the young girl continues to weep, something stirs in the underbrush. A rustle. The earth trembles softly beneath the weight of something colossal. And then, from the shadows, emerges the grizzly, a creature so majestic, it almost feels surreal against the backdrop of her sobs. The bear stands tall, an embodiment of nature's grandeur, its dark fur catching the early morning light. But in that instant of eye contact between human vulnerability and animal ferocity, something astounding happens. She doesn't scream, nor does she bolt. Instead, her tears seem to bait an unexpected reaction from this colossal beast. The bear sniffs the air, instinctively drawn closer, curious about this unusually defenseless creature on its path. It's as if the universe conspires to highlight a lesson in compassion, threading vulnerability into bold strength. Weaving a narrative unraveled by countless tales told throughout the ages, the hero who falls to vulnerability only to rise again, sometimes through help from the most unlikely sources. But what drives this bear? Is it mere curiosity or an innate understanding of suffering? Scientific research indicates that animals possess emotional responses strikingly similar to human ones. This bearer of instinct may be recognized as a fierce predator, but it might also feel something beneath that bristled exterior. The phenomenon of anthropomorphism is common within the human psyche. We often ascribe human-like emotions and motivations to other animals, mirroring our feelings and fears. Are we witnessing a moment where the lines of nature blur, a communion that defies the basic survivalist instinct? Imagine the girl wiping her tear-streaked cheeks, looking up at the giant. She might not understand the philosophy of compassion, yet she embodies it in her silent acceptance. What she doesn't know is that this single encounter will unravel emotions in those who eventually bear witness. It culminates into an unforgettable moment etched into time, a snapshot of connection drawn from the edges of fear. As the bear grows closer, the gaze becomes electric. The world watches. It's impossible to look away. The viewer stands on the precipice of this scene and reflects on their own vulnerabilities, an implicit bond forged through the act of simply being human. In that brief ephemeral pause, a mediator between two separate realms, the wilderness and human emotion, arises. Equally fascinating and somewhat horrifying, the onlookers gathered at a safe distance experience an emotional tempest of their own. They too share a visceral reaction. Some cry out, urging the girl to move away, while others quietly plead for the bear to approach her just a little more, captivated by the unfolding spectacle. They, albeit from afar, are drawn into this emotional whirlpool, unable to turn away. They share a collective psychological response, driven by fear for the girl's safety and astonishment at this unusual scene. Society teaches us to eradicate or advocate violence. But here we are confronted with a juxtaposition of gruesome and tender. At this moment, we glide back to our girl, a fragile oasis amidst nature's chaos. The primal instincts of the bear and the empathic plea of humanity give rise to thrilling tension. This collision, fascinatingly built on the moral landscape of survival and vulnerability, highlights the terrifying truth. Not all moments in life allow for a clear distinction between predator and prey. As the camera pans around, the double-edged sword of nature starts to reveal itself. The crowd behind her, albeit safe, feels their hearts racing, wondering, what if this is an unexpected chorus of compassion, a moment that defies the natural order? Or what if instead it manifests into chaos? Unexpectedly, a childlike innocence and an animalistic understanding connect as the world tiptoes on the fine line separating reverence from rage. But as is often the case in these stories and life instances, we witness an event that twists expectations. What occurs next astonishes everyone gathered around. That quiet, breath-holding proximity transforms into an arsenal of emotions. The girl reaches out tentatively, her small hand almost dwarfed by the bear's immense bulk. And the bear, oh the bear, it sways back, cautiously, almost tenderly acknowledging this moment of fragile grace. Scientists argue that some animals possess a mirror neuron system, capable of experiencing empathy, an expression of understanding that goes beyond the basic need for survival. The tension crackles in the air. You can almost place it in a jar, seal it tight, and carry it with you forever. This becomes a defining moment, the clash of instinct against emotional enlightenment. We collectively breathe, holding our breaths, caught up in this tapestry of unexpected connections. The crowd collectively leans into the spectacle, some teetering into chaos, some advancing with bated breath, all grasping this moment as if time had lost its dominion. And then nature intervenes in unexplainable ways. Suddenly, out of the clearing, emerges a dark silhouette, a set of eyes watching with clear intent. Another grizzly, perhaps a mother, sensing an intrusion near her territory, roams through the underbrush. The nerves of the crowd shift, awareness morphing anxiety into frantic energy. It raises a question fostered in terror. Would this encounter shift from wonder to survival, disrupting the fragile serenity held just moments before? Just as nature's cycle has flourished with surprise, so too does the gathering witness the simultaneous fragility of youth, meeting the raw indifference of untamed nature. A fusion of worlds poised on a knife edge. As fear ripples through the witnesses, hands clench phones, thumbs hover above buttons, ready to record or to dial for help. In that split second when instinct kicks in, do they choose to intervene or allow nature to play out its script? The rustling grows louder, and in this cacophony of sounds, we enter a profound juncture in the narrative, a crux that forces us to explore our understanding of nature, survival, and the humanitarian spirit that binds us all. Will the girl find solace in the encroaching bear, or will instincts thrust the narrative into chaos? Where we go from here is defined by a choice, an emotional surge that resonates throughout the gathering. It's about how every heart beats as one when faced with the intersection of life and vulnerability. This is our reality, a delicate balance poised between contemplation and raw instinct, where countless stories merge into one undeniable truth. Stay with us, for we are reaching a pivotal twist that could change everything. What if I told you that a moment of sheer innocence could intermingle with raw, unbridled power in a way that defies all logic? Picture this, a solitary girl, abandoned and alone, tears streaming down her cheeks as she sits on the edge of a deserted road. Nearby, prowling through the dense underbrush, is a mighty grizzly bear, a symbol of nature's ferocity. What happens next is a convergence of instinct empathy, and the unexpected that leaves us questioning our very understanding of life, vulnerability, and connection. Our tale unfolds amidst the breathtaking beauty of the Pacific Northwest, where mist shrouds the morning landscape, blurring the fringes of reality and making the trees appear like sentinels of an ancient world. Here, nature reigns supreme, with grizzly bears roaming freely in their untamed glory. These magnificent creatures embody the balance of power and grace, principles of survival honed for centuries. But even in such awe-inspiring beauty, dark threads of vulnerability weave through. At the heart of our narrative lies the intersection of human fragility and nature's raw force. A meeting that challenges us to reconsider everything we know about empathy and instinct. As dawn breaks, a solitary figure emerges on that abandoned road. An 8-year-old girl lost in a world that feels far too large and indifferent. With her tousled hair and smeared cheeks, she embodies an innocence that calls to mind a cherished childhood memory. A time when fear and safety danced in a delicate balance, when the comfort of a parent's embrace seemed eternal. But today it's gone. All that remains is her desperate sobs echoing through the silence, an unsettling reminder of the world's indifference to suffering. In a moment heavily laden with emotional gravity, tears fall like rain, pooling at her feet. Simultaneously, a movement stirs in the shadows, a ripple in the fabric of the forest, marking the arrival of an emergent force. Out of the veil of trees steps the grizzly, its immense frame hulking with both beauty and terror. It pauses, nostrils flaring, a curious gaze attempting to parse the strange sight before it. The bear, majestic yet fierce, finds itself face to face with a trembling, abandoned child. Why does this encounter matter? It brings to light something deeply innate within us, something buried beneath layers of social conditioning and survival mechanisms. Research in social psychology suggests that our brains are wired to respond to vulnerability, activating pathways of empathy that can lead to nurturing or protective behavior. In the rush of empathy, we often find ourselves resonating with the suffering we witness, our instincts triggering an urge to connect, to bridge the gap between predator and prey. This girl, with her tear-streaked face, defies our ingrained notions of fear. Instead of crying out or running, she appears to momentarily forget the peril that looms nearby. Conflicted within the heart of the bear, a creature governed by instinct, curiosity piqued. As it draws nearer, there's an electrifying pause in the air. A breath hangs, as if time itself has taken a moment to contemplate this unlikely union. And now we have to ask ourselves, what is happening here? Who bears the greater weight of vulnerability? The child alone on a desolate road, or the bear, hungry and driven by primal instincts? It's a classic confrontation of tenderness against ferocity, a metaphorical embrace that unfurls deep questions about our own nature. Imagine being in that crowd gathering at a safe distance, a multitude of emotions boiling beneath the surface. We've all experienced moments of collective tension, a shared breath held when you're waiting for uncertain news, where dread intertwines with anticipation. Here, our instincts are spring-loaded, firing electric impulses through observers as they shout caution, some stunned into silence, others urging action. Why does this emotional turmoil tug at their hearts? They too resonate with fear, projecting their inner struggles onto this tableau of raw existence. Suddenly, the grizzly meets the girl's gaze, a silent communication blossoming through the air. A few fleeting moments seem to stretch out infinitely, revealing an intricate map of connection fraught with uncertainty. Her eyes, wide and glistening, appear as mirrors, reflecting a shared essence of life, the fragility of existence intertwined with an animal's instinctual drive. While to some eyes the bear remains an apex predator, to others it transforms into a guardian in this moment of profound vulnerability. It's easy to retreat into a mindset governed by binary narratives, predator and prey, instinct versus empathy, but life frequently defies these simple classifications. Studies show that moments of heightened stress can lead to unexpected friendships, even between species. Consider the story of a wild fox that befriended a fireman after being rescued from peril. By sharing a brief moment of connection amidst chaos, complex relationships evolve, transcending traditional roles. Here we ponder, And such a profound bond bloomed between a lone girl and a towering grizzly in this moment. As the atmosphere thickens with potential energy, the crowd becomes a cacophony of opinions. Some gasp, others shout warnings, but amidst the chaos, a powerful silence weaves its way in. A rational observer might argue that this is folly, a test run of survival gone awry. But isn't life itself a dance with the unpredictable? Nature doesn't always abide by human logic, nor does it owe us safety. Here lies the heart of this encounter, revealing the edges of vulnerability, our fight for survival juxtaposed against tenderness. The bear inches closer, almost cat-like, weaving through the tall grass, defining the encounter solely through instinct. The girl, safe amidst her tears, becomes a beacon of connection. In that suspended moment, the world watches, still trembling in anticipation of what could happen next. But as we hold our collective breath, another shadow looms, a new presence emerges from the depths of the woods, an intruder on this fragile scene. A larger female bear approaches, her intentions hidden behind amber eyes glistening with alertness. She perceives a threat, a small girl alone in her territory, and instincts surge within her. Here the entire narrative shifts onto a tightrope precariously balancing on empathy and instinct, where every element of survival comes to play. As the silence evolves into a collective gasp, the complexity of nature lays bare before us. What role do we play in this story? Are we the helpless observers, or can we evoke powerful change? Some instinctively want to rush in, to shield the girl from impending danger, while others are glued to the scene, grappling with the unpredictability of nature's dance. Both impulses reflect a basic human truth. We seek connection and safety, yet we fear the unknown. As the second bear approaches, a feeling of dread hangs in the atmosphere. Tension mounts, the crowd's heartbeats synchronize, a primal rhythm echoing that ancient fear ingrained in our survival. Will this moment slip from poignant connection to a disaster we all fear? What happens when opposing forces converge, instincts battling empathy, each struggling to claim the narrative in a world that often feels devoid of sense? Time appears to freeze as the female bear and the girl become finite particles in a cosmic dance, swirling dangerously close yet profoundly far apart at the same moment. While the first bear seems poised for an act of unexpected gentleness, the second bear radiates raw instinct, ready to protect her territory at all costs. In this critical moment, our understanding of fear and connection is put to the ultimate test. As we stand on the precipice of an emotional cliff, with our breaths hovering like clouds in the crisp morning air, each heartbeat thunders, a rapid drum echoing through the woods. It's in this moment of sublime tension that we must confront a universal truth. No matter where we stand in the narrative of life, whether we root for the girl or the bear, we are intertwined in a shared human experience, navigating delicate relationships filled with emotion, heartbreak, and breathtaking moments of connection. What unfolds next will defy our understandings and ripple through the fabric of our very perceptions. So, if you dare, take a breath and hold on tight, for we are about to plunge deeper into the unknown. What happens when the wild meets the vulnerable in a moment so profound that it defies our understanding of nature? Imagine this: a vast wilderness shrouded in mist, towering evergreens standing as silent witnesses, and in the midst of it all, a young girl, trembling and alone, her tears painting her cheeks like raindrops on silent earth. And not far off, prowling through the underbrush, a mighty grizzly bear, an emblem of untamed power and instinct. What unfolds next is a story that captivates hearts and minds, reshaping how we view connection, fear, and empathy. Our tale begins deep in the heart of the Pacific Northwest, where daybreak casts an ethereal glow over the rugged landscape. Ancient trees, gnarled and wise, whisper secrets of time. Among these sentinels of nature, a stark contrast emerges. A child abandoned on the roadside, wrapped in both literal and metaphorical isolation. At just 8 years old, she embodies a poignant reminder of youthful vulnerability, a desperate search for safety in a world cloaked in uncertainty. Imagine the air, thick with tension, her tiny sobs echoing against the serene backdrop of the wilderness. Every sound amplifies her loneliness. A bird's call, the rustle of leaves, a distant brook, all immersed in her sorrow. It evokes memories of our own childhood fears, when safety seemed to drift just out of reach, and the world felt overwhelmingly large. She sits on the asphalt, a blend of innocence and fragility captured in time, embodying the human condition itself. But just as despair threatens to eclipse her spirit, fate intervenes. A shift in the balance of the universe as a massive grizzly bear, a creature renowned for its prowess, emerges from the trees. It pauses, muscles coiled tight, nostrils flaring as it sniffs the air, drawn to the unsettling sound of a distressed child. Here lies the crux of our story, the moment when predator and prey collide in an unexpected communion of existence. Now, why does this matter? In studying social psychology, we discover that our brains are hardwired to respond to expressions of distress. Empathy flickers to life in the face of suffering, mirroring what we fear or have experienced ourselves. The human instinct to protect the vulnerable is a primal response. When we witness someone in pain, a sense of urgency awakens within us. The girl's cries stir something deep within the bear, too, an instinctive pull toward understanding the source of this disturbance. This encounter invites us to explore empathy through the lens of wild nature, blurring the lines between instinct and compassion. As the bear draws closer, it's hard to imagine the thoughts swirling within its mind. It considers this small creature on the road, sensations fluttering within its primal brain. Is it fear, curiosity, concern? The vastness of the wilderness holds its breath, as if waiting with bated anticipation for the next moment to unfurl. Here, the very essence of life, both feral and innocent, balances precariously on a knife's edge. In the crowd gathering a safe distance away, emotions run high. Some gasp in disbelief, while others shout with urgency, their hearts pounding in tandem with the palpable tension. Every pulse reverberates through the onlookers, a collective anxiety forming a web of connection. They mirror the girl's vulnerability, yearning to intervene even as they remain rooted in their conflicted fear. Caught in this whirlwind of visceral reactions, the bystanders grapple with complex emotions: anger, fear, anticipation. Each person is confronted with their own struggles, revealing an inescapable truth. The human heart yearns for connection, even in the face of danger. Psychologically, we instinctively seek to protect innocence, to shield it from the harsher realities of life. And here, this instinct is put to the ultimate test. And then it happens. In an electrifying moment of shared gaze, the girl locks eyes with the bear. A heartbeat, a shared breath unfolds, and an unspoken understanding transcends the divide between two worlds, one guided by instinct, the other by emotion. It's a snapshot of cosmic synchronicity, where fear loses its grip, if only for a fleeting instant. The bear, aware of this frail figure, seems to pause to absorb the gravity of her existence. This uncanny connection evokes a memory of our own experiences, moments when we felt utterly small, yet somehow significant. Moments when nature's beauty and terror danced in tandem. From the depths of our being, we are reminded of the intricate tapestry that life weaves. The bear signifies the primal instincts of all living creatures, while the girl encapsulates the purity of human emotion. In this clash, every observer is left contemplating their own role: spectator, protector, or simply a witness to the unpredictable machinations of life. But as any story in nature unfolds, tranquility is often but the prelude to chaos. Just then, another rustle interrupts the silence. A second bear begins to emerge from the shadows, its presence solidifying the tension already hanging over the scene. A mother grizzly, intent on protecting her territory, strides closer, instincts sharpening, leaving onlookers frozen in fear. In this moment of dizzying anticipation, the air thickens with impending danger. The bear's protective nature surges forth, sending shockwaves of dread through the crowd. It's not simply a battle of survival unfolding. It becomes a paradox where empathy confronts instinct, and choices made could reverberate far beyond that fateful road. As this captivating interlude transpires, we are drawn deeper into the psychological ramifications of such an encounter. This spontaneous gathering between humans and creatures speaks to a hidden longing for connection and understanding. People from all walks of life can relate to the rawness of emotions, the desperation that teeters along the precipice of hope and despair. And at this charged moment, we must ask ourselves, in the face of nature's chaos, what do we truly value, innocence or survival? Caught between these two grizzlies, the mother fierce and vigilant, and the curious yet gentle bear, looms the fragile girl. The crowd holds its collective breath in anxious anticipation, their eyes wide with uncertainty. As their hearts thrum like thunder, they ponder how swiftly fate can shift. What unfolds next could either shatter hearts or preserve the fragile tapestry of innocence woven through that moment. Will the bear instinctively defend her young from perceived encroachment, or will it recognize a bond that transcends instincts? In these delicate seconds, the presence of the girl takes on a new significance. She becomes a bridge between two worlds, challenging the definitions of predator and protector. In the background, voices murmur as uncertainty envelops the crowd, sparks of anxiety igniting desperate thoughts. Should they intervene or let nature decide? There lies the question, what are we willing to risk in order to protect what we value most? The wild, tethered by its primal instincts, intertwined seamlessly with the human experience of empathy and irrationality. In this turbulent moment, as shadows dance within the encroaching dusk, a series of decisions unfold, ushering in an emotional crescendo. Those onlookers grapple with their own vulnerability, interpreting the scene through the prism of their life experiences, recalling a time when they felt vulnerable, when the stakes felt impossibly high. The intertwining stories of the girl and the bears echo deep into the darkness, calling forth powerful reflections on instincts, survival, and the instinctual ties that bind us all. And as the climactic tension draws near, we must brace ourselves for what lies ahead. In the heartbeat of the wilderness, nature will always emerge as a force unto itself, but within its pulse lies the potential for revelation. What happens next will shift the way we understand this unique convergence of lives, human and bear, predator and protector. Will innocence transcend ferocity, or will nature's wildness erase this delicate moment of connection forever? As we stand poised at the brink of uncertainty, the answer awaits to unfurl. Prepare as we journey into the unknown, where every heartbeat reverberates with possibility. What if I told you that a moment of pure vulnerability could intersect with primal power, leading to a spectacle that challenges everything we thought we knew about empathy and survival? Imagine a quiet road, stretching like a ribbon through the wilderness, but marked by an unsettling scene. A young girl, abandoned and sobbing, her cries piercing the serene silence of the forest. Nearby, hidden among the shadows, a massive grizzly bear observes, its instincts wrestling with an impulse far deeper than mere hunger. What happens next transcends human understanding, transforming fear into an extraordinary lesson about connection amid chaos. Our story unfolds in the rugged expanse of the Pacific Northwest, a place where towering trees stand tall against the vast sky, their ancient roots anchored deep in the earth. Here, the air is thick with the scent of pine and damp earth, ingredients of nature's raw beauty and brutality. As morning light filters through the canopy, illuminating patches of earth, we find our focus drawn to a singular figure on the side of a desolate road. A young girl, perhaps 8 or 9 years old, crouches on the asphalt, her small frame trembling. Lost, both physically and emotionally, she gazes down the winding road, painted in shades of gray and despair. Her voice, soft yet heart-wrenching, resonates through the air, each sob sending ripples through the stillness around her. In that space, she becomes an embodiment of childhood vulnerability, radiating innocence in a world that can be frighteningly indifferent. She is a reflection of our own childhood fears, tapping into a collective consciousness of longing for safety and connection. As she wipes her tear-streaked cheeks with the back of her hand, the surrounding forest starts to stir. From the dense underbrush emerges the grizzly bear, a creature long revered and feared. Measuring up to 8 feet tall on its hind legs, this magnificent beast is the epitome of primal strength. But at this pivotal moment, it too seems caught between instinct and something softer, an urge to understand this strange being before it, crying on the road. The bear pauses, its powerful muscles rippling beneath dense fur, and inhales deeply, capturing the scent of a disturbance in its territory. This moment is not just a clash of contrasting forces. It's a chance to explore something far deeper, the essence of empathy. Research in social psychology reveals that we're wired to respond to the emotions of others, particularly when it comes to distress. When confronted with another's suffering, we instinctively want to draw closer, to offer comfort or protection. This is echoed in experiences across species, a powerful reflection of the interconnectedness of life. Now, as the bear steps cautiously onto the road, the delicate threads of life intertwine in a way that transcends the predator-prey dynamic. The girl, instead of fleeing or screaming, gazes up at the approaching grizzly, her eyes wide, not with terror but curiosity. At that moment, an invisible bridge forms, a connection grounded in vulnerability that defies instinctive fear. This stark contrast lights up the quietude of the forest, a subtle reminder that in nature, threats sometimes come in unexpected forms. As bystanders gather at a distance, they are gripped by a tapestry of emotions that elicits both primal fear and a hopeful yearning to witness a miracle. Each observer clutches their phone, unsure whether to record, intervene, or simply hang on to the unfolding magic that blurs lines between danger and connection. For them, watching this encounter reawakens their own childhood moments, times when they felt abandoned, scared, yet hopeful. You can almost hear their thoughts racing. What if this moment ignites an extraordinary bond? What if nature itself teaches us that strength can also be gentle? The crowd collectively holds its breath, waiting to see how this improbable interaction will unfold. The onlookers have moments where they consider their own actions. Each individual grapples with the visceral pull of empathy, perhaps recalling moments in their lives when they had to confront fear head-on. The energy shifts in these shared pulses of anxiety. Will the girl remain safe, or will nature take its course? The bear, seemingly entranced, draws closer, matching the girl's gaze. In those fleeting seconds, as they hold each other's stare, we witness a poignant dance on the line between instinctive survival and the soft undercurrents of emotional connection. The childhood innocence in her eyes reflects a crucial truth. Vulnerability exists in every creature, even the most ferocious. We may see the grizzly as a symbol of overwhelming power and danger, but here in this moment, there lies the potential for deep understanding. Just as emotions swell to a boiling point, nature has a way of reminding us that beauty can coexist with peril. From the safety of the crowd, another rustling cuts through the air. A second bear, larger and fiercer, steps out of the nearby thicket. It looms like a living shadow, embodying the raw instincts of a protective mother. She strides purposefully, muscles tense, defensiveness surging within her, sensing an intrusion in her territory. Her priorities are clear: to safeguard her own at all costs. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts into charged anticipation. The crowd's heart rates spike. People exchange glances laced with fear and anticipation. Experts know that while grizzly bears are often portrayed in isolation, their dynamics are rooted in complex social behaviors. Researchers have documented cases where maternal bears display fierce protectiveness, sometimes leading to devastating consequences for perceived threats. Observers draw in sharp breaths. The stakes have just escalated dramatically. What now ensues becomes an emotional crescendo, a complex web of instinct, protection, and primal understanding, fueled by the essence of life itself. The delicate balance between safety and danger teeters precariously. If instincts take reign, chaos could unfold. This dichotomy renders the girl almost a fragile fairy trapped between two giants, representing innocence facing the unforgiving realities of the wild. In that crucial moment, the girl's reaction becomes pivotal. Her tear-filled eyes flit from the approaching danger of the mother bear to the curious young grizzly and back again. Unbeknownst to her, she embodies an intersection of two worlds, the fragility of innocence and the raw, untamed essence of nature. She seems to sense that connection, her small body vibrating with a strange mix of trepidation and fragile curiosity. The tension escalates not just for her, but for the crowd now fully engrossed, their emotions cascading like waves in a storm. Each person holds their breath, questioning whether they should intervene or allow this unpredictable tale to unfold. Emotions surge and spiral as the onlookers wrestle with their own fragility, navigating their feelings of fear, compassion, and the tenuous line between humanity and nature. Then the unexpected happens. The girl, embodying an unfathomable bravery, takes a small step forward. In what can only be described as an act of instinctive grace, she extends her hand towards the curious Grizzly, trembling yet resolute. That small gesture, echoing across the divide, responds not only to the bravery within her, but to the innate human wish to connect, to transform fear into understanding. But can the bear reciprocate this gesture? The crowd watches, hearts leaping into their throats. What will nature choose? An act of dominance or an unexpected bond? In this uncertain moment, you can almost feel the fabric of time stretching and pulling, interweaving curiosity, fear, and the raw essence of life. Will empathy put on its armor and march bravely forward, or will instinct dictate otherwise? As the mother bear approaches, every heartbeat echoes in quiet anticipation, a chorus of breaths hanging in the air. The scene is ripe for resolution, and yet much hangs in the balance. In that heartbeat, when instincts clash and emotions intertwine, the answer awaits just beyond the edge of understanding. Will this poignant moment unify the fragile hearts of a child and a bear, or will fate demand a different ending? Remember, in nature's powerful tapestry, nothing is ever truly predictable. What happens next could redefine everything we think we know about ourselves, about the interplay of life, and about how a simple act of connection can ripple through existence in ways we've yet to fathom. Prepare yourself, for the next act in this unfolding drama will shock you in ways you never expected. What if I told you that a single, abandoned child could evoke profound emotions, not just in humans, but in the most fearsome predator of the wild? Picture this. A desolate road cuts through a sprawling wilderness, whispers of wind rustling through the trees. A young girl sits on the asphalt, tears streaming down her cheeks, a heartbreaking tableau of vulnerability. And lurking nearby, camouflaged within the dense thicket, a massive grizzly bear watches, its instincts humming like a taut wire. What unfolds next will challenge everything you thought you knew about fear, empathy, and the connections that can rise from the most unexpected of places. Our story begins deep within the rugged heart of the Pacific Northwest, where nature reigns in all its magnificent glory. Here, the towering evergreens stretch skyward, ancient sentinels that bear witness to the cycles of life. As dawn breaks, soft light filters through the canopy, painting everything in hues of gold and green. But on this particular morning, nestled within this beauty lies a stark reality: the lonely figure of a young girl on the side of the road, abandoned and lost. Imagine her there, a tender age of 8 or 9, her small frame shaking with sobs that seem to echo through the stillness. She is a poignant reminder of childhood despair, each tear shedding layers of innocence. Perhaps we can all recall similar moments, the incessant worries and fears of youth, when the world felt far too vast and strange. The weight of her sorrow hangs heavy, and in the wilderness, it becomes palpable. But fate often has a way of sending unexpected characters into our stories, characters that can transform fear into something exquisitely poignant. Out from the underbrush, a massive grizzly bear emerges, a creature both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Standing tall, it is an emblem of raw power, its muscles rippling beneath a thick coat of fur, eyes locked onto this curious scene. In that instant, the world seems to pause, as predator and prey inch toward an unprecedented encounter. This moment raises profound questions about the nature of empathy. In social psychology, we discover that our brains are wired to respond to the emotions we witness in others, especially distress. Researchers have studied how individuals often feel compelled to help when they see someone in need, an instinct spoken through our humanity, and our evolutionary biology. The girl's cries stir something within the bear. An instinct melds with an unfamiliar curiosity. As the bear steps tentatively onto the road, the scenario morphs into something extraordinary. Instead of flight or frenzy, the girl slowly lifts her tear-streaked face, curiosity overtaking her fear. Could this be the birth of a connection, fragile yet profound, forged between two worlds that usually remain starkly apart? It's a dance of instinct and emotion, the wild meeting the innocent, that plays out like a cinematic masterpiece before our eyes. Watching from a safe distance, a group of observers grapple with a tidal wave of emotions. Here we see the complex interplay of fear and compassion, hearts pounding in unison as they witness this moment unfold. What compels them to watch, breath held, collectively yearning for an outcome that defies their expectations? Perhaps it's our shared human experience, one that draws upon childhood memories of fear or longing, connecting them to this poignant tableau. Everyone here is touched, and the raw emotion radiates among them as they witness the intuitive dance of the girl and the bear. In psychology, this phenomenon is known as moral elevation, where witnessing altruism inspires feelings of admiration and connection with others. Observers watch, torn between wanting to intervene and wanting to let the moment unfold, hoping for an unexpected miracle, a bridge built from fear into understanding. As the bear draws closer, the world around them seems to freeze. It's as if nature itself holds its breath, caught in the tension between danger and innocence. The girl reaches out, small trembling fingers extending toward the grizzly, as if she somehow knows that fear can transform into something altogether different, a connection that transcends our preconceived boundaries. But the bear isn't just a symbol of raw power, it has its own history, its own emotional landscape. In the wild, scientists have observed moments of unexpected tenderness between creatures, revealing their complex emotional lives. There are stories of captive bears interacting with children who remind them of their cubs, crafting moments where instinct is influenced by sheer emotion. Is it too much to believe that this mighty beast could recognize something in the girl, a similarity of innocence, a spark of vulnerability that echoes within its own being? In that pivotal moment, a collective gasp erupts from the group of spectators. The air crackles with potential as the bears move closer to the edge, and joy dances dangerously in the crowd, the possibility of an incredible bond blooming before their eyes. But like the wild often does, nature weaves a tapestry filled with surprises. Just as hope swells, another rustle breaks the calm. The larger female grizzly steps from the shadowy thicket, a presence that shifts everything in an instant. This second bear, formidable and watchful, brings with it an urgency and protective instinct that electrifies the scene. The atmosphere thickens with tension as the spectators grapple with their own fears and anxieties. Here, nature's fierce reality is on full display. The mother's protective instincts surge as she takes in the strange sight unfolding before her. Every heartbeat echoes, sending waves of anxiety through the crowd. Will this protective mother bear perceive the girl as a threat intruding upon her territory? Will she instinctively react in a manner shaped by her primal instincts? Or will the subtle connection that blossomed moments ago linger beyond the looming danger? Now, the balance hangs precariously, and the girl's small figure stands defiantly at the crossroads of instinct and emotion. In this vital moment, we witness her breath hitch, an obvious uncertainty creeping into her heart. But in her delicate grace lies a bravery that contrasts sharply with the raw power directed toward her. The girl, embodying human resilience, becomes the tether between chaos and understanding, provoking the questions about our own instincts in moments of crisis. The bystanders bolt from fear to hope and anxiously cling to their thoughts. Some scream warnings, while others whisper prayers. This spectacle incites something primal in them, a collective memory of childhood, of being lost and searching for solace. Each person can feel the weight of the moment. They sense an urgency that vibrates in the air. There's this primal pull in all of us, an unyielding urge to protect innocence, even in the face of non-human threats. As the mother bear approaches, her powerful frame eclipses the sunlight, filtering through the branches, bathing the scene in looming shadows. The crowd is entranced, hearts tethered tightly to the outcome. Everyone watches, yearning for understanding and fearing for the girl's safety. But what happens next transforms this encounter into possible transcendence, proof that within the wild's fiercest hearts lies the capacity for tenderness. In all of this turmoil, what emerges is a metaphorical dance. The girl stands on the edge of awareness, caught in two worlds, representing the fragility of childhood that we all hold dear, yet juxtaposed with the primal instinct of the bear and the raw energy of survival. Love and protection, as universally instinctual as fear and aggression, intertwine in ways both surprising and profound. Then, in a moment that feels suspended in time, the girl steps forward, and even the bears seem to sense a shift. With outstretched hands, she recognizes the bear not as a threat, but as a being full of life, just as she is, facing its own challenges. This gesture reverberates within the crowd, a powerful reminder of how connection can transcend barriers, even those forged by instinct and nature itself. As empathy ignites in the hearts of the watchers, it awakens dormant emotions, the memories of those childhood moments when finding hope in fear felt insurmountable. Inspired, some onlookers struggle against their instincts, feeling the urge to step closer, to shield her from impending chaos. The fear churns within them, they recalculate their next steps, and just as hope begins to rise, a crackle of unseen tension weaves its way into the air. Will the tension resolve into a moment of understanding, or plunge into chaos? The atmosphere thickens as the mother bear bears down, an undeniable force of nature, facing the uncertainty her own instincts demand. What is she protecting? Her cubs? Her sense of safety? Or is it the instinct ingrained in every creature, a protective stance toward what threatens the vulnerable? Caught in this cyclone of emotions, abandonment, protection, fear, hope, everyone watches breathlessly, just as life itself holds steady in this instant. The girl's heart races against the unfolding chaos. Here lies the crux of a story where relationships form and unravel through instinct and vulnerability, displaying life's unyielding capacity for connection against all odds. In the wilderness, life often defies expectations, crafting a narrative far richer than any we can imagine. What emerges next will defy all preconceptions, redefining our understanding of the wild, of compassion, and of the strength found within vulnerability. Prepare yourself, for as we edge closer to the answer, we delve into the untamed landscape of possibility, a juncture where fear can lead to echoes of unexpected understanding, shaping lives forever in ways we were never prepared to fathom. What happens when the fierce instincts of nature meet the fragile vulnerability of a child? Imagine this, a desolate road, winding through majestic mountains, cloaked in the haunting beauty of the Pacific Northwest. There, at the side of the road, sits a young girl, tears streaming down her cheeks, a haunting portrait of fear and loneliness. And lurking not too far off, a massive grizzly bear observes, muscles tensed, instincts firing. What transpires in this moment will rattle your heart and challenge everything you thought you knew about instinct, protection, and empathy. Our story begins early in the morning, when dawn's light bleeds through the thick mist, creating an almost ethereal glow. The air is crisp, laced with the scent of pine and damp earth, filling your lungs with the raw essence of untamed wilderness. But amidst this natural splendor lies the stark reality of a child's suffering, an abandonment that cuts deeper than any knife. There stands the girl, frail and small, perhaps 8 years old, her sobs piercing the stillness like shards of ice. In that moment, she is a clear reflection of a lost innocence, embodying that childhood fear we all know too well, the feeling of being utterly alone in an unfathomable world. As she wipes her tear-streaked face, the heart of humanity collectively breaks, struck by her vulnerability. But there's more. Fate, with its whimsical touch, nudges the narrative forward, leading us into the realm of primal instincts. Out from the thicket, a hulking figure emerges, its presence both terrifying and awe-inspiring. A grizzly bear, powerful and unyielding. With every heavy step it draws closer, each sinewy muscle a testament to nature's brute strength. But within this moment of raw potential lies an unexpected twist. The bear pauses, nostrils flaring as it inhales the scent of despair wafting through the air. It stands tall, alert yet curious, a swirling mixture of instinct and intelligence sparking in its deep-set eyes. Here we witness a universal truth. Even the most ferocious beasts have their own emotional landscape. As the girl's cries reach its ears, the bear's instincts pulse and vibrate in response. Could it be that empathy exists in forms we have yet to fully understand? Throughout history, countless tales reveal unexpected connections between humans and animals. Stories echo in our cultural consciousness: a stray dog that faithfully attends to the grave of its owner, or a dolphin rescuing a swimmer in distress. We are drawn to these encounters because they reflect the deeper wiring within us, the innate desire not only for connection, but for understanding the emotions that bind us all. As the girl's despair rises, something remarkable begins to happen. Instead of fleeing or panicking, she looks up at the approaching bear, an unexpected calm mingling with her unease. Could this be a moment of transformation, an invitation for empathy, a bridge between the wild and the innocent? At this moment, we arrive at the heart of social psychology, a field that examines how our emotions influence our actions and connections. When faced with distress, we often experience moral elevation, a feeling that reveals our innate desire to help. The bystanders watching this scene unfold do not merely observe. They also feel compelled to respond, their instincts firing, intertwining fear with hope. This visceral reaction galvanizes the crowd, amplifying their heartbeats as they collectively hold their breath. Here lies a fundamental question: why does this scene impact them so deeply? Perhaps it is because they are reminded of their own moments of childhood vulnerability, time spent searching for safety, and feeling the weight of isolation. In witnessing this young girl in distress, their hearts resonate with a collective longing to protect innocence. As the bear continues to inch closer, a palpable tension rises, almost electric in its intensity. The girl wipes the tears from her eyes once again, determination briefly replacing despair. Instead of retreating, she takes a tentative step forward, her tiny hand reaching out instinctively toward the grizzly. Here, we can't help but explore the boundaries of fear and trust. This moment captures the essence of human emotion, the ability to reach out in the face of danger, to extend a hand when all reason screams for retreat. It's a dance of empathy, a willingness to bridge two worlds, one defined by innocence and the other by primal instinct. Suddenly the atmosphere thickens as a cacophony of sounds fills the air. The spectators, gripped by conflicting emotions, feel their anxiety swelling. Some shout warnings, urging her to step back, while others inch closer, desperate to witness what unfolds. Each heartbeat in the crowd echoes with a tension that seems almost palpable, blurring the lines between fear and exhilaration. Yet just as the connection seems poised to deepen, nature has a way of imposing its own will. A rustle from the nearby trees interrupts the already balmy air, drawing everyone's gaze to yet another grizzly that emerges, a powerful female bear, muscles taut with purpose. The air turns electric with the weight of instinct as it strides forward, confidence in her gait. Now we find ourselves at the precipice of an emotional crescendo. The mother bear enters the scene, protective instincts igniting like wildfire. In nature, this urgency is both instinctual and powerful, a safeguard for the vulnerable. What will her presence mean for the young girl standing bravely in front of her bear companion, this new, unexpected challenger in her already tumultuous world? At this moment, the narrative sharpens as we grapple with the potential outcomes. The crowd remains frozen, their eyes darting back and forth between the two bears and the girl. The stakes have risen dramatically, pushing us into the heart of danger and the raw power of nature, beasts facing off against the inexplicable magic of human connection. The girl, embodying an extraordinary bravery, looks again to the massive male grizzly, who seems to pulse with empathy, then back at the mother bear, whose fierce gaze radiates protectiveness. Time appears to slow as she stands at the crossroads of these fierce instincts, aware of the emotional gravity of this moment. What will happen now? Will the mother bear perceive the girl as a threat, protecting her territory and instinctively charging forward? Or will compassion overcome instinct, forging an extraordinary bond in the face of danger. In this blend of fragility and strength lies a deeper understanding of what it means to be alive. To connect against all odds, as the tension reaches its peak, the audience grasp at the moment. Is it possible for love to emerge amidst chaos? Can we find humanity's essence in the heart of the wild? The girl's small frame vibrates with courage, perched between safety and uncertainty, a poignant symbol of the human condition itself. And just as the moment seems to break, a shivering quiet drapes over the scene, caught between light and shadow. The instincts of the bears, honed through generations, intertwine with the rawness of the girl's emotion, painting a vivid tableau on the canvas of nature. It's a moment where the potential for connection clashes with the reality of survival. What happens next will challenge everything we thought we knew about the ferocity of nature and the power of tenderness. Prepare to be anchored to this unfolding drama where every heartbeat counts, as we await the answer to the questions swirling in the air. Will the girl's vulnerability shine through the wild chaos, or will instinct trump connection in a heartbreaking dance? The answer lies just beyond our grasp, teetering on the edge of possibility, ready to unveil a profound truth that may forever alter our notions of love, fear, and empathy in the wild.